Last lesson covered risk allocation, deciding who bears what. This lesson covers the mechanism that actually pays the private partner, and why that mechanism has to match the risk allocation exactly, or the whole structure stops making sense. 3 payment models cover most PPPs. User pays. The private partner collects fees directly from users, tolls, water tariffs, airport charges, meaning it carries real demand risk. Government pays, usually called an availability payment. The government pays a regular fee simply for the asset being available and meeting performance standards, regardless of usage. And hybrid, some combination, splitting demand risk between government and private partner. This is the direct link back to last lesson's risk matrix. If demand risk sits with the private partner, user pays is the coherent mechanism. Its revenue rises and falls with usage, matching the risk it carries. If demand risk instead sits with the government, because usage was judged unpredictable or outside the private partner's control, an availability payment is the coherent choice, since it isn't tied to how many people show up. Here's the mistake this lesson exists to prevent: choosing a payment mechanism that contradicts the risk allocation already agreed. A user pays structure on a road nobody can reliably forecast demand for just relocates the problem. It doesn't solve it. The mechanism has to follow the risk decision, not the other way around, and not be picked independently for convenience. Whichever model is used, most contracts build in performance deductions, reductions to the payment when the asset underperforms against agreed standards, even if it's technically available. A road that's open but poorly maintained, or a hospital wing that's staffed below the contracted level, triggers a deduction. This is what makes payment tied to performance, first introduced in Chapter 1, actually operational rather than a slogan. Put together, structuring now has a complete shape: allocate risk, choose the payment mechanism that matches it, and build in performance deductions that keep the private partner accountable throughout the contract's life, not just at signing. Once this is set, the project is actually ready to go to market. Chapter 6 covers exactly that: running the tender. Quick recap: the 3 core payment models are user pays, government pays through availability payments, and hybrid. The mechanism chosen has to match the risk allocation from the risk matrix, not contradict it. And performance deductions make payment tied to performance an operational reality, not just a principle. Chapter 6 is next: how the tender itself actually runs. That's Chapter 5. Subscribe to follow the rest of the course.